Other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, for the Business Buzz this morning. And I don't have any guests in our very first segment because we had to reschedule them to the end of June. So I'm excited to say that this is my first segment of the Business Buzz where I'm welcoming listeners to call in and let us know what is on your mind. The numbers to call are 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp us your questions and your comments to 925-3261. There's a couple of things on my mind this morning as it relates to business and will certainly have an impact on Cayman. The very first thing, and which is one of the biggest deals for our island, is a reminder for the community to voice your ideas and concerns for Plan Cayman at tonight's public consultation meeting held at the Georgetown Constitution Hall from 7 to 9 p.m. Plan Cayman is the proposed development plan for the Cayman Islands, setting out long-range policies and proposals for physical development and use of land. For more details on the plan or the consultation schedule and how you can get involved, visit their website, plancayman.ky. Again, that website is plancayman.ky. And I said a pretty key thing there. So it's a development plan for the Cayman Islands. It's a long-term plan. We often get a lot of callers who would like to voice their opinions on what's going on in Cayman and, you know, what kind of, are we even shaping up for our future here? And this is the time to really get involved. The proposed policy is there as well. It's a pretty long document, so it's going to take some time to go through, but I would encourage you to familiarize yourselves with the points that are in there, understand what's going on, get involved in the public consultations. They'll be going on till about mid-July, but tonight's is in Georgetown Constitution Hall, 7 to 9 p.m. Secondly, I would like to encourage entrepreneurs and those that have a business idea in mind to participate in Cayman Enterprise City's Launch Labs Incubator Program. This opens for applications on the 12th of June. Now, the Launch Lab Incubator Program is a 15-week program for seed and pre-seed startups that are looking to launch their business or take their product to the market. So if this is you and you have a big idea in mind that you need to hone and you want to bring to life, apply for the Launch Labs Incubator Program. It's completely free, so I don't know what would stop people from joining this unless it's, time. But it's completely free and it's guided by a team of advisors, business leaders, and mentors. Past instructors included Buck Grizel, Polly Pickering, Jason Butcher, Jonathan McLean, and so many more leaders and professionals within Cayman's business landscape. Successful applicants also get access to the Launch Lab Studios, which provides co-working spaces, meeting rooms, and networking events. And you get that access for a full year. So a few rules do apply for interested applicants, but you can find out all the information online at enterprisecayman.ky/launch-labs-incubator. Remember, it's a free program and there is also no cost to apply. So if you have been sitting on a business idea or in the beginning stages of one, the Launch Lab Incubator Program could absolutely change your life. Check them out. The third topic, which hopefully if we have time, I want to get to. It's going to be about the beach vendor situation and how vendors will be allowed to operate without a license until a decision is made by the Grand Court. So there's been some news that came out on that. Cabinet just released a revised policy on the 7 Mile public beach vendors. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the discussion if time does allow. But to really kick off, This morning's conversation, I want to talk about CUC's announcement regarding load shedding and Ofreg's response to CUC's announcement. Now remember, our phone lines are open and I want to hear from you. 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. It usually only just takes one caller, and then everybody else is like, you know what, I'm gonna give my opinion on this situation too. So, to begin with the topic of CUC's load shedding, which is a possible plan, and then Ofreg's response to CUC's possible plans. To be fair, I did invite both CUC and Ofreg to join me this morning on the show, but Ofreg had not responded in time, and CUC could not make this morning's segment, but they might be looking at coming on next week. From my understanding they've been locked into board meetings the entire week. Now, if you go to cuc-cayman.com, that's cuc-cayman.com, and scroll down to the bottom of the home page, you will see a yellow strip that has a sliding bar of information. And that's where some of their press releases, at least for the month of May, can be seen. The one that you're looking for is called CUC Addresses Generation Capacity, released on May 28th, which is downloadable for you to read. And that's mostly what I'm going to be referencing. Now, to quote directly from that press release, CUC's generation reserve margin, the difference between total installed electricity generation capacity and peak consumer electricity demand, is presently at lower than normal levels, which increases the risk of having to shed customer load in the event of any unplanned loss of generation. The shrinking reserve margin is due to rapidly increasing electricity demand driven by economic growth and record high temperatures and delays in adding new generating capacity to the grid." End quote. The press release went on to provide some data on peak electricity demand for Grand Cayman, which grew by 9% from 113.5 megawatts in 2022 to 124.1 megawatts in 2023. And if I understand correctly, I think in recent weeks, CUC also surpassed that 124.1 megawatts just in the past few weeks. Now, in summary, CUC last installed additional generation capacity in 2016, followed by a smaller addition in 2022. According to the press release, in 2019 and 2021, CUC forecasted increased consumer demand. In 2019, they proposed a, quote, 13 megawatt solar plus storage to Ofreg to meet projected demand with a clean energy option. The proposal was not approved pending the initiation of a competitive bid process by Ofreg for such a project. End quote. Now, I could be a little wrong here, but I'm understanding that all generation capacity installations by UC may require the approval of Ofreg. Now, the press release continued to say that, quote, in 2021, CUC formally requested that Ofreg initiate the procurement of 23 megawatts of solar and storage capacity to meet increasing consumer demand. This procurement process by Ofreg is currently in the final planning stages. As a temporary measure, the company, CUC, leased 10 megawatts of mobile generation in 2023, with an additional 10 megawatts to be installed later in 2024, for which regulatory approval is pending. End quote. Now, the peak loads are happening in the evening, which seems to be between the hours of 4:30 to 8 p.m. CUC cannot currently serve customers during these peak times because the demand is simply greater than their capacity to generate power. If needed, load shedding will occur in a rotating manner during those peak times, and CUC will do their best to inform customers of a load shedding schedule. Outages can be expected for 30 minutes to 1 hour, they're not quite sure yet, and can start as early as 3 p.m. until possibly 8 p.m. There's a little bit more said in the press release, but I'm just trying to give you a bit more of a summary here. Now, my questions are, what does this mean for businesses? I mean, families, of course, included, but this is a business show. So what does this mean for businesses? Restaurants, shops, gas stations, hotels. How will this affect their bottom line? And we know that businesses are already hurting due to inflation. So what extra cost would this incur on businesses? How will employees be affected by the possibility of load shedding? What kind of security issue does this present for businesses? Sure, we can all agree that some of the bigger companies have generators, so maybe they'll be able to surpass any sort of load shedding that may affect them. But what about the smaller companies? Not everybody has a generator and the capacity for the generator to do everything that business needs to do to function. So what about those smaller businesses? That's what I'm interested to know. I did have a question also. Why can't we do load shedding like in the middle of the night? But I guess that doesn't really make sense because it's when we're at peak demand or use of electricity, and the diesel engines, they can't handle that demand at that time. So there's no like peak demand in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., for example. So therefore, the no load shedding needs to be done at that time. There's an idea that there could be a rotating load shedding happening. And again, the amount of time that the power would be cut would be for about 30 minutes to possibly 1 hour. And those times are between 4:30 to 8 p.m., possibly starting as early as 3 p.m. Again, it is not 100% for sure that CUC will be engaging in load shedding. But that is the statement that was released by them on May 28th. I really do encourage people to go to cuc-cayman.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and find that press release and just be a little bit informed and understanding what CUC is saying. Now, on Friday, May 31st, the Utility Regulation and Competition Office, aka OFREG, released a statement in response to CUC's May 28th press release. That's available at ofreg.ky under Resources and then News. It is a 4-page press release, so I'm going to highlight and summarize the important notes. And bear with me as well when I do, because it's written in, to me, it was a little confusing to follow, a little bit of legalese in there. And we're citing a bunch of conditions that were part of CUC's transmission and distribution license. It also goes on to explain the difference between firm power and non-firm power. And currently, CUC is the only company that can generate firm power. So we're going to get into what OFREG's press release is after the commercial break, and a reminder that if you want to call and voice some of your thoughts, the numbers to call are 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp your questions and your comments to 925-3261. Let's go to a commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Una Ideen Bush, Certificate of Honor, 1908-1995.
Miss Una devoted a lifetime of service to her country and community. She began her career as a school teacher and rose to head the Government Savings Bank, which she developed as the first banking institution in the Cayman Islands. She served her church and community in many other ways, including as a Sunday school teacher, organist, Girls Brigade leader, founding member of the Business and Professional Women's Club, and member of the Garden Club.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Check out the new farmers market at the Agricultural Pavilion grounds in Lower Valley, Saturday, June 8th and Sunday, June 9th from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. Local produce, agricultural products, authentic Caymanian food, and catch up with your friends and neighbors while the children play. Eat, shop, and play at Farmers Market at the grounds in Lower Valley. It's happening Saturday, June 8th and Sunday, June 9th from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Elevate your child's math skills with 100% Math with premier math tutoring services under the expert guidance of our renowned mathematicians, Professor Emeritus Romain Angeloff and Dr. Mackenzie. Programs are designed to secure IB, HL, and SL Math, CSEC A-levels, and IGCSE success. Whether your child aims to get ahead or catch up, 100% Math is your partner in achieving their academic goals. Don't let your child's math skills lag. Visit us at 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With its modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
The Family Resource Center Department of Counseling Services has a new home. We can be found on the first floor, Adonis House, 75 4th Street in Georgetown. Family Resource Center continues to offer fully funded individual parent coaching sessions and programs. If you have a parenting goal you would like to support, reaching, including strategies, parenting children of all ages and stages of development, co-parenting challenges, are expecting or recently had your first baby, we can support you as you navigate your unique parenting journey. Email frc@gov.ky or call 949-0006.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and right before the break, I just read some of the key points from CUC's press release, which was in regards to load shedding. And now I'm going to talk about the press release that OFREG put out in response to CUC. So on Friday, May 31st, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Office, aka OFREG, released a statement in response to CUC's May 28th release. Again, that press release from OFREG is available on their website at ofreg.ky under Resources and then News. So OFREG noted some conditions of CUC's transmission and distribution license. So I'm just going to say T&D license from here on. Condition 4.4 reads, quote, "The licensee is responsible for the procurement of adequate generation supply in terms of required energy, capacity, and ancillary services to fully meet the needs of its consumers, subject to the application of the generation solicitation process." End quote. For me, the term "subject to the application of the generation solicitation process" isn't entirely clear. Does this mean CUC has to provide adequate electricity no matter the fact that they applied or reportedly applied for additional capacity? So the OFREG press release also noted that CUC is solely responsible for forecasting power needed, and that if anticipating the requirement of more electricity, they are to issue a certificate of need to OFREG 3 years in advance. Now, if we go back to the CUC press release, they stated that, quote, "In 2021, CUC formally requested that OFREG initiate the procurement of 23 megawatts of solar and storage capacity to meet increasing consumer demand." End quote. So OFREG stated in their response that, quote, "Since its inception in 2017, OFREG has never received a certificate of need from CUC, despite the fact that there has been an ongoing construction boom since then, with larger-than-ever developments coming online at a faster rate than was seen between 2008 and 2011. And that was when the first CON, Certificate of Need, was issued by CUC to the ERA. OFREG goes on further to say, quote, "In predicting load growth, it is industry standard for CUC to monitor, among other things, the number and magnitude of planning permissions granted, which information is readily available to the public, and to use that information to calculate the projected load growth long before construction is commenced in any development that is approved by the CPA." End quote. My question here is, does this all come down to CUC allegedly not issuing or applying for a certificate of need to OFREG, as OFREG has seemingly claimed they have not received? Does this indicate that CUC may possibly be in breach of their obligations under their T&D license? There is a lot more said in OFREG's press release, which I do encourage listeners to read. It's a bit difficult to follow, as I said earlier, but they have made their position quite clear, and that is that it is not OFREG's fault that CUC is in this current predicament, and that they will be, quote, "determining what action, if any, is appropriate for their apparent failure to perform in accordance with their license." End quote. I have questions. What was that formal request that CUC alleges to have made? And was it seen by OFREG? What kind of formal request was this, and was it not in accordance to what needs to be submitted to OFREG? OFREG does state that they asked in September of last year, so about 9 months ago, when would a certificate of need be submitted, and they were told sometime in the near future. OFREG also states that in 2022 and 2023, CUC, quote, "submitted applications for temporary generation on the basis that they urgently needed additional generation capacity that they had not forecast," end quote. With the temporary measures in generating greater capacity by leasing generators, which are allegedly not as effective as CUC's own generators, this cost is expected to pass right through to the consumers, and we already know that our bills are pretty high when it comes to electricity. So again, who is really suffering the most from this? Will consumers have to endure the load shedding or temporary loss of power and increased utility bills? I would really like to know. I would love to hear from CUC and OFREG. I would love to have them at the same time in studio to have this discussion. I have a feeling that won't happen. But I do understand, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, that CUC has been in meetings. I'm going to assume that it's since OFREG released their statement, because OFREG's statement is pretty powerful. And it is suggested that CUC allegedly is in breach of their transmission and distribution license. We have a comment that did come in from a listener, and that comment said, this is via WhatsApp, "I think it's evident that it's not a great idea for further population growth in our islands, and any more development should be paused." This is in regards to load shedding. The commenter, or the person, went on to further say that, "Yes, ma'am, we are overpopulated, and at capacity reason I believe that they are discussing this load shedding. Some people are not going to be affected. Why they don't, I don't know what this word is supposed to say, why they don't do something when people are not home, or why they don't, I guess, load shed when people are not home, but they want to wait for when the civilians need electricity. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I understand. We need another utility facility like our current one, maybe in the Eastern District, to compensate the growth." So I understand what that person is saying, but that load shedding, for it to happen between 4:30 to 8 p.m., or the suggested time for it to happen, if the load shedding is even going to happen, is because that's when people are using power the most. That's when all the electricity is being used the most. So for us to have load shedding at a different time when it's not being used, we don't need to load shed at that time. That is what I understand. So a lot of interesting things coming out of that. A lot of interesting statements coming out of OFREG's press release. I absolutely encourage you to read that. Go to ofreg.ky, the resources tab, news, and then you will find their press release there. We are about to come to the close of the business buzz, which makes me a little sad, because I wanted to get into talk about the beach vendors a little bit as well, and to hear from some callers, because I know people are have a lot to say on this topic. Hopefully you'll call in to talk today a little bit later, and that our host is going to be able to discuss this with you if she has the time today. But for the beach vendors, I just want to let people know that last week on May 31st, a government press release from the Ministry of District Administration and Lands, in conjunction with the Public Lands Commission, announced that Cabinet has approved amendments to the 7 Mile public beach vendor policy. These amendments include the introduction of a review process providing an appeal mechanism for all vendor applicants. I understand that any applicant who has been rejected from doing business on the beach is actually allowed via a court order, I think it's an order, that they can continue to operate as long as they have applied originally for a vendor license. They can continue to operate on the beach. If you have not applied at all, I think it's a no, you cannot do this. So I would say go check out that press release as well. It should be on the gov.ky website somewhere. If not, Public Lands Commission should have that press release there. I can't get into it because it's 8 a.m. and we got to go to the 8 a.m. news now, and then I'm going to have some guests after our 8 a.m. news. Thanks for sticking with me on this first segment of the Business Buzz.
Thank you, Kathy. And studio time now by Foster's is a minute after 8.
It's time to start preparing for this year's hurricane season, and Foster's has the essentials you need to weather a storm.
Stock up on canned goods, non-perishable foods, water, health and first aid items, pet supplies, flashlights, and other hurricane kit essentials.
Start preparing now using our online hurricane guide and emergency checklist. Just head to fosters.ky for more info. You can also follow us at Foster's Cayman on Facebook and Instagram for helpful tips throughout the season.
Foster's, better because we care.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
We need to have a conversation on
heights of buildings. What is really, we're an island, we're not South Beach or Los Angeles or whatever, we're an island, right? That's how that conversation.
They asked for feedback and they got it at the first public meeting organized to gather input on the updated planning statement document, the first phase of the development of the plan review process.
My concern is young people will not understand the large impact this document will have on them. So from my perspective, how is this consultation going to be broken down for the young people? If this says your plan, your future. And we like to say young people are the future. So if we're the future, this should be our plan. So how do you plan to keep us in this conversation so we can understand exactly how this document impacts us as young people in our community?
Cayman's development plan hasn't been updated since 1997, and these public meetings hosted by the government are the first phase of the review process, giving an opportunity for people to ask questions as well as share concerns and provide feedback.
Many places that have historic overlay zones actually have restrictions on title as to what you can and cannot do, and that doesn't take place in Cayman. And the reason I'm saying that you all need to think about how to address that is because in law, the Development Planning Act doesn't permit us to get involved with making those kinds of restrictions on land title.
The next meeting is taking place tonight in Georgetown at Constitution Hall. A few land matters, a few bills, and some discussion about government boards. Cabinet's May 28th meeting summary has been published. It was at this meeting that Cayman's leaders greenlit several legislative bills to head to Parliament for debate. This includes the Pharmacy Bill, Firearms Bill, and Perpetuities Bill. Cabinet also approved the issuance of drafting instructions for the development of an immigration transition arrangements of convenience regulations. While at this meeting, they approved the lease renewal of a storage unit for the Department of Environment, as well as the acquisition of a portion of land on Linwood Street in central Georgetown. The only other property item at the meeting was the acknowledgement of the sale of Crown property Grape Tree Condominium Block. Several boards were also dealt with. Cabinet approved a stipend increase for the Board of Directors of the Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center, with the chair now getting $1,250 per month, deputy chair $1,000, and members $750 per month. Langley Powery was appointed as chair of the Board of Directors of the Special Economic Zones Authority, and Cabinet switched out the member representing the Ministry of Social Development on the Council of Older Persons from Rail Roberts to Trevor Gibbs. Finally, Mr. Joseph Marzuka was reappointed as chair of the Health Practice Commission. You can read the full meeting summary online at gov.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Danielle Jałowiecka. Western leaders have joined veterans in Normandy to mark the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, which began the liberation of France in the Second World War. Paying tribute to those who served, President Biden told the gathering the soldiers had known that there were certain things worth fighting and dying for. Turning to contemporary Europe, he said Ukraine had been invaded by a tyrant and Ukrainian soldiers were showing extraordinary courage. Dozens of people are reported to have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a UN school in central Gaza, sheltering displaced Palestinians. The Israeli military says the school contained a Hamas compound and insists that it took steps to reduce the risk of harming civilians, but Hamas described it as a massacre. The US, the UK, France, Germany and Spain are among 17 countries urging Hamas to accept the latest proposal for a deal for a ceasefire and the release of hostages in Gaza. Chancellor Scholz has called for the deportation of foreigners who glorify terrorism or carry out attacks in Germany following the murder of a policeman in Mannheim. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk says Poles are justified in reacting with anger to reports that 3 border guards were detained after firing warning shots at migrants trying to force their way in from Belarus. 2 guards are facing prosecution. A survey by South Korea's health ministry reveals that child obesity rates have nearly quadrupled. 14% of those between the ages of 9 and 17 are obese. And that's the latest BBC World News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami health system, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
The Business Buzz. Each and every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817. The first all-in-one bundle is here. Join Flowmania today and get 1 gig broadband, insanely fast 5G and Wi-Fi backup to keep you going for as little as CI $159. For more information, head to a Flow store near you or go to discoverflow.co.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britcay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Your heart is a muscle, and exercise strengthens it. A strong heart pumps blood more efficiently, delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. Exercise also lowers your risk of developing plaque in your arteries, which can clog them and reduce blood flow to your heart. High blood pressure, angina, and heart disease are just some factors that can affect your heart health, and diagnosing these issues can be complex. It's crucial to see a physician for accurate diagnosis and professional treatment to ensure your heart remains healthy.
Your health tip was brought to you by Total Health, comprehensive preventative health care in the Cayman Islands.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening with the weather. Current temperature is 86 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 29.81 inches and falling. The wind is southeast at 8 knots. Overnight low temperature was 85 degrees. Synopsis indicate an increase in cloudiness and showers is expected over the next 24 hours as a tropical wave moves across the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving west-northwest. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures today will be in the low 90s and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:52, low tide this afternoon at 3:31, and a high tide again tonight at 10:30. The sun will set this evening at 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:47. And the outlook is calling for an increase in showers and thunder activity from Friday afternoon. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. On the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is steady traffic as well on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Slight delays expected as we look to downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, flowing moderately, as well as on Shedden Road in both directions. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is flowing at a good pace at the moment. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is light to moderate. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive, and as we look to the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, traffic is flowing moderately in both directions. And heading towards the Industrial Park area, moderate flow of traffic, and traffic is steady but flowing on North Sound Road in both directions. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to inform its Cayman BRAC customers that there will be temporary interruptions to water service from Monday, June 3rd to Friday, June 7th between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on specified days. Affected streets are Severy Close, Lilies Lane, Valerie Avenue, Lime Lizard Way, and Harold Drive. Customers who will be affected will receive a door hanger notice which will be delivered the day before service is scheduled to be interrupted. An additional door hanger notice will also be delivered upon restoration of water service. These service interruptions are to facilitate our ongoing leak detection project. The aim is to enhance our system's integrity by identifying and repairing all possible leaks. We advise customers to store enough water for personal use during service interruptions and limit the use of water-intensive appliances. For further information, customers may contact the customer service team in Cayman BRAC by calling 948-1403 or emailing braccs@waterauthority.ky.
Flow presents Flow Mania, the first ever all-in-one bundle for mobile and fixed internet.
Wow, finally.
With an absurd 1 gig broadband connection at home. For real, that fast? Insanely fast 5G for the first time ever. Are you serious? And an incredible service to keep you going. Wi-Fi backup included. What? Woohoo! Go all in. Go full mania with Flow Mania. Calculate your savings when you sign up at discoverflow.co or in store.
There's not long to go till Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2024. So let's meet our wonderful contestants.
Hi, Cayman. I'm Erin Broderick from District of Georgetown. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Miss Universe Cayman Islands pageant, Hearts of the Universe, on August 31st at the Westin.
Tickets go on sale on the 1st of June at Funky Monkey, The Finishing Touch, and online at eventpro.ky. Tickets are $75, but get your early bird tickets for just $65 before July 1st to join these wonderful women on their journey to the crown.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And on this segment of the Business Buzz, we're going to be talking about the Cayman Islands Invitational Under 14 Youth Football Tournament. In studio with me, I have Mr. Mervyn Smith, co-founder of the West Bay Sports Foundation and member of the West Bay Sports Foundation, Rhonda Cornwall. Welcome to the Business Buzz.
Thank you, and good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Welcome and good morning. Good morning to the listening public, and good morning to you, everyone here at Radio Cayman.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, Mervyn, you might know that I, still hold to my heart West Bay being the best district, so I'm happy to have.
Yes.
I do live in Georgetown now, but West Bay being the best district, and
Yes.
we have a sports foundation for West Bay. Give us a little bit of information on the background of the sports foundation, how it came together, what you guys do.
Okay, well, really, it's one of those things, Arden and myself, several years ago, actually 2009, we wanted to do something. At that point in time, life took over. Football was over, and for me, I was kind of glad of that because when I was playing, all Arden ever did was kick me down. So, I was kind of glad that we came together at this level here and now where we wanted to do something essentially, and for a particular age group. Football's in our hearts. It's our national sport. It's what we did, and it was more about not just a love of it, but I'm sure anyone that speaks most wanted to get to a higher level. So we looked at an age group that we could impact by putting on tournaments. The first tournament was a local tournament, then we brought international teams in, where from the perspective of the under 14s, the development stage of the individuals, we felt that this was an area, an age group we wanted to target to provide them with additional competition that of course wouldn't be available on a small island. So, from there, the West Bay Sports Foundation was born, and with that, 2009, we got to doing local tournaments. 2016 was our first international tournament, and from there we've been able to attract some, very significant teams. We've had teams from North America, from the UK, teams like Manchester City, their youth program, and of course the Caribbean, Honduras, and so forth. So, it's been well-rounded in that respect, and it's brought a level of competition to this, like I said, this particular age group where the development is crucial, we feel.
Yeah.
So that was the whole idea behind.
And then if I can add as well, I think Mervyn did a great job of, giving the foundations how it started as well. But I think one of the things, too, that's so important that West Bay Sports Foundation was able and still able to do is, support the youth in terms of educational pursuits as well, because one of the things that the foundation did was any proceeds that came out of the games and stuff would go to supporting any youth that needed support educational wise, or even with being able to go overseas to train with international teams and stuff. So it was such a great opportunity and a great idea that Mervyn and of course Arden Rivers and the foundation came up with, to be able to infuse this kind of encouragement and support to our youth.
I love that. I think it's so important, especially to be able to provide the youth the experiences with the international teams, and then the opportunity, okay, you might get to join a training camp or go train with this club for a little bit or at a facility, because it absolutely opens your mind, it opens your eyes to the possibilities that are out there. And as a youth...
Absolutely. And I'll just interject on that as well, just to say that this continues, that practice continues with this tournament, because, a player will actually get, and the coach will get an opportunity to train and observe with Inter Miami as well, coming out of this opportunity. So, again, we're looking at ways that we can broaden the horizons, for our youth.
Now, Inter Miami, that's not the only team coming. We have Jamaica as well, right?
Yes, under 14.
Under 14
national team as well.
So Inter Miami, when people are thinking about Inter Miami, what are we thinking? We're thinking Messi, and I'm going to ask the question that everybody's going to be wanting to know. Is Messi coming? I know that might be like, oh, okay, Kathy, you're really reaching, but come on. Why not? Why wouldn't he come here, first of all? Or his son's playing?
No, his son's actually in the tier below, in the under 12s. So,
okay.
Yes, and hopefully we do this next year, and of course then his son goes from the under 12 to the under 14s. Then yes. And as far as Messi is concerned, I've extended a personal invitation now.
Oh, you got personal contacts, Mervyn, all right.
So we expect him for the next tournament.
All right. Well, this sounds good to me.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear this. We're having one more person join us in studio this morning.
Yes. So we do have the director for CIFA, Mr. Alfredo Whittaker, that just joined us, and we're very happy to have him.
Good morning, Mr. Whittaker. How are you doing this morning? You don't need the headphones. Don't worry about it.
We don't need it, right?
No, you don't need it.
Good morning. Sorry to be a little late.
It's
I
all
was
right.
told 8:30.
Oh, you were. Oh,
but I was listening to the program, so I like it now.
Yeah. I got that you came fast. All right. I like your driving skills here. Excellent. So I from your perspective with the West Bay Sports Foundation putting on an invitational tournament like this and having the Cayman Islands boys national under 14 team, what does this mean for CIFA as well?
Ooh. It mean the world. When you have an association like the West Bay Foundation that put on these kind of tournaments, that give us the opportunity to participate at this level with our national team, and when you have the possibility of seeing young talented players from around the region that visit your island, is not only for us or for the kids, it should be an inspiration for all of us. Actually, this has been a mark for us to grow, to get better, and to get ready to compete at the international level. That would be the Caribbean Football Union and CONCACAF by extent. So for us is a great help and great opportunity for the kids.
All right. Now, I've seen what some of the programs has done is like for the tiers. So not the national men's and women's team where they're at currently, but when we worked on the programs for the younger tiers, I'm not sure all the different teams. And there's under 14. I don't know if there's an under 16. But when we've really focused from there, I've seen incredible growth in football. So when they have reached the men's and women's national team, we've seen great success, especially for the women. So, these kind of tournaments for me are excited because it's, it's kind of grooming those children from that early age to be ready for this kind of level of competition, to be exposed to it, and, to work hard and see what they can achieve and what they need to go for.
It is, and fortunately for us, we're going to expose the players to see at that young age how these players conduct themselves on and off the field, from the way they approach the training, from the way they conduct themselves in training, the way they prepare for the match, all of the surrounded after the games. For our kids is more than good. Hopefully, and I make a call to all of the clubs that have young players. Let's take this opportunity and let's bring them to the stadium. Yes. Let's bring them to watch, to learn, to have the opportunity to exchange ideas and to get that inspiration for them to remain in the sport. That's what really we need, and this is what these kind of tournament mark for us.
All right. Now tell us, who are the teams involved in this under 14 youth football tournament?
So, of course, we mentioned Inter Miami CF. And I also want to say, because we talk about Messi being the big name associated with Inter Miami, but we also have to remember David Beckham, because, of course, it's his team. Oh, yeah. And David Beckham is a legend in his own.
Absolutely.
So we're really super excited to have Inter Miami here with us, but we're also welcoming Jamaica under 14 national team, and of course our very own national team under 14 team, and Academy SC, their under 14 team as well. So we have 4 teams that are competing.
Now that you reminded me about Beckham, of course I'm going to ask, do we know if David Beckham's coming?
Again, Mervyn extended that invitation joke.
We're going to have to go to find out.
Yes. Yeah, again, we're excited for the associations and, to be able to make these sort of connections for the Cayman Islands because, of course, when you have teams that are connected to big names like Messi and David Beckham, it is a broad scope for the Cayman Islands in terms of international exposure. And so when we talk about tourism, sports tourism, that also brings a highlight to the islands when their team is coming to the Cayman Islands. Because, of course, international media oftentimes picks up this kind of information. So, we're excited to have those kind of connections.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing. But it's also that possibility that there could be some coaches on the Inter Miami team that say, hey, we see something in this youth that we'd like to invite them to our club, and having that youth have that kind of exposure, and especially, the probability of them running into Messi or Beckham.
And you got to get that exposure. And again, that's a big part of it, really. At some point, sure, Alfredo here will say, we want to get an individual at the highest level possible within the professional leagues, the best professional leagues of the world. So, that is really what we're driving at, and to just say, when the tournament started, when we started, the first tournament was a local tournament, as I said, when the foundation started, it was not always, we were not always sure, and didn't always happen, that we had a national, under 14 national team. So, credit to Mr. Whittaker as well for what's happening there. We'll say with Academy, we always had their participation from that perspective. So, we are now, and what we're always hoping for is more organization. We're always hoping to advance, and that comes from leadership. That comes from leadership within CIFA. As I said, give Mr. Alfredo some credit. Me and Arden at times, we put these tournaments were always about exposing our youth to the highest level of competition that we could get and we could bring here. And, that in the past is a struggle. So, I am happy to see that, that now we have that structure. We do have the under 14 national team. They're going to get this exposure. And we have had in the past, as I said, I don't want to say we never did. It was not as sure as it is now. So, from that football perspective, wanting to give back what this foundation was always about, this now is something that we'll feel good about, build on. And it's, Rhonda, Art, and myself, we know these tournaments are not easy to put on. There's a lot of logistics that goes in. There's a lot of funding, the sponsorship. I'm sure we'll get to them as well. But at the end of the day, we put ourselves on the line to ensure that this is going to happen, and we want it to run as smoothly as possible for just that reason, for exposure to this particular age group, with the hopes that, yes, coaching advances, referees get that opportunity, and ultimately we get players to the point that they can be at our highest levels.
We only have a couple minutes left here, so I want to get the tournament schedule out. When are the games happening? Who's playing who? When? What days? And is it a free thing? Do we buy tickets? That kind of stuff. And we got to thank your sponsors. So we only got a couple minutes left if we can get that info out. All right.
So let us get this information out there because it is absolutely important. The games begin tomorrow, Friday, the 7th of June, and it's until the 9th of June, which is for the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. First game is at 6:30 tomorrow. And then we have the games on Saturday begin at 10 a.m. in the morning at Ed Bush playing field. Okay. And then the last games are on the Sunday, and it's at Truman Bodden Sports Center, and it's at 6 p.m., the first game. Again, the two venues are Ed Bush Sports Complex in West Bay and Truman Bodden in Georgetown. And the again, admission is free. Okay. So we're highly encouraging the community to come out and support our youth because this is an opportunity for us to refresh football in Cayman, to see some excellent talent and some great football. These tournaments bring out such great entertainment and just just a competition that happens. So come out and support the teams. I know that our national team and academy and everyone else, are going to appreciate the support. So this is a great community event to come and support. And then again, I want to quickly talk about our sponsors, because without them, this would not have been possible. And so I don't want to forget them. So we definitely have to thank the Ministry of Tourism and Ports, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. We're also thanking, of course, CIFA. We couldn't do this without CIFA support as well. We have DART, Maples Group, we have Crichton Properties, Moxham Group, Ruddy, Holden's, Subway, Foster's, again, a host of other island cleaners, mentioned DART, Everything 345. So again, a lot of sponsors who came on and saw the value of this, and again, inject that support into our youth. So a huge thank you to all of our sponsors.
So games start tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just want to add as well, because it's obvious a lot of sponsors. There's Domino's, there's Progressive, Gatorade. So, to all the sponsors, we just want to say thank you. It is certainly not possible. These tournaments in the past have run somewhere in excess of, I think the most expensive one was like $90,000. So you get an idea of how important sponsorship is.
Definitely.
Just to put on a tournament. In the past, now there was more teams than the 4 teams that we had here. In some cases, we had 6, 8 teams. So that, of course, would wear that cost and would be associated with that. But without the sponsorship, without people believing in what you're doing, and having the confidence, of that you're doing this and it's going to be pulled off, this is just not possible. So,
and the fact that it's free, there's no reason why the community can't come and support, right? They can't be like, well, I don't have the money for it. It's free.
There's no end for charge. So, with that being the case, all of the funding now for this tournament has to come through the sponsorship.
Right. So come support the youth out there.
Come and support.
Mr. Whittaker, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to say before we have to end this segment?
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, that was quick and concise.
That's what left to say. Thanks, and let us enjoy. This week is an active week in football for the Cayman Islands. We're starting with the beautiful tournament of the young little boys, young talent, and then on Saturday at 3:30 we have our senior men national team that kick off the World Cup qualifiers against Antigua and Barbuda.
Okay.
At Truman Bowden Sport Complex.
Oh, it is a big weekend in football for Cayman.
So
come support.
It's a big weekend for us, and I guess that's what we all like and what we want.
Right, absolutely. Something to look forward to for sure. Thank you so much for joining us on this morning's segment of the Business Buzz. And when we come back, we are going to be talking to CCMI.
Thanks.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Stay ahead with Total Health for all your healthcare needs. Their state-of-the-art facility offers specialist consultations, diabetes and weight loss, women and child, ophthalmology, ENT, dental, orthopedics, physiotherapy, on-site laboratory, imaging, and pharmacy all under one roof. Total Health also provides comprehensive health checks for women, children, men, and senior citizens. Conveniently located in the Grand Pavilion on 7 Mile Beach Corridor. Experience a new era of preventive care in the Cayman Islands with Total Health, because everyone deserves healthier living. Visit totalhealth.ky today and empower your well-being.
Time to sign up for the 4th Annual Enviro Walk Cayman. Taking place on Sunday, June 9th at Safe Haven, this 5K walk run aims to bring awareness to environmental issues. Since 2019, Enviro Walk has encouraged participants to protect our environment. Enviro Walk is a fundraiser for Girl Power, Miss World, and Miss Supranational Cayman Islands, and donates to an organization who the participants feel is helping with environmental causes. Early bird pricing available till May 15th. Register at Cayman Active or Tickets Plus. See you on June 9th at Safe Haven. For more info, contact envirowalkcayman@gmail.com.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm Kathy Miller, and joining me on this segment of the Business Buzz is the Central Caribbean Marine Institute, otherwise known as CCMI. I have Dr. Gretchen Goodbody-Gringley. She's the Director of Research for CCMI. Good morning, Dr. Gretchen. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you. Thank you. I haven't spoken with CCMI, I think, in any of the interviews I've done, whether it's Business Buzz or Talk Today for sure.
Oh,
so
wow.
Excited
Well, we're
to have
happy
you
to
on.
be here.
Yes. Give us a little bit of introduction as to who you are, your background, and then a little bit of an introduction to basically the mission of CCMI.
Sure. So I am the Director of Research at CCMI. I've been here now for 5 years. Actually moved here 1 month before COVID started. So it was a really crazy introduction to Cayman. And I moved here from Bermuda.
Okay.
So I was previously a scientist in Bermuda. So I study all things about the ocean, but mostly corals and how they tolerate things like changes in temperature.
Which has been pretty crazy, especially in the past year.
Yeah, it's getting quite hot out there.
Yeah, so I understand that, I think it was June last year or July, one of those two. That's when the very first, or the hottest month in history has ever been recorded.
That's
and then
right.
it was like subsequent months after that. So it's been almost a year of the hottest months ever in history recorded.
Exactly. Everywhere on the planet experienced the hottest year ever. And, you know, I think that we can see that in some of these crazy weather patterns that are happening. Yeah. You know, in, where my family is from in California in 2023, they had these atmospheric rivers. You know, it's been a desert in Los Angeles for like 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden it's just torrential rain. And I think they're having the same sort of situation right now in Europe. So you know, these are all related to the changing climate.
Right. I think there was just a flood in Germany the other day.
Right.
I don't know where in Germany, but yeah. There has been a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah, and of course hurricanes too are linked to ocean temperature. So
yes.
I know we all have a close eye on the hurricane season this year.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Are you based in Little Cayman then?
I'm actually based here in Grand Cayman.
Okay.
I have a daughter who's in school, so
nice.
Requires being somewhere with a school.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that's pretty important.
Yeah.
So I guess when it comes to that change in temperature and everything's getting a little hotter for us, and we can definitely notice that in the Caribbean. I keep saying over the past couple of days, why is it so hot? Like it's 6 a.m. and I'm walking my dog and I'm like, this is ridiculous how hot it is.
It's crazy
Muggy.
hot. Even the ocean right now the surface temperature is already past 30 degrees Celsius, which is very hot for here. That's normally the temperature that we would see in late August, September. So to have that already first week of June, it's kind of scary.
So what does this mean for our marine life? And what's going on in the ocean? What does that big change in temperature mean?
Well, unfortunately, it's not good news. So, you know, as the ocean warms, all organisms have to adapt to deal with that. Corals, in particular, are really sensitive to temperature. So they already live at pretty much the upper limits of their tolerance for temperature. So even just a slight increase can cause the corals to expel their algal partner, which is how they get almost all of their energy. And you may have heard the term coral bleaching.
Yes.
That's called that because when they expel this algal partner, they lose their color, so they become white. So it looks like, they've been doused in bleach. But really what is happening is that the corals are starving when they don't have that partner. And so if this goes on for too long, then the coral can actually die. And this is what we experienced last summer.
Okay. And I feel like this has been happening, or I've been hearing about it for almost since I moved here about 18 years ago, that there's been always a coral bleaching event happening.
Yeah, they get more severe and more frequent as time goes on. And actually, this year has just been announced, and I think February or March was announced as the 4th global bleaching event by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, NOAA. And that's because not only is coral bleaching happening in the Caribbean, but it's happening in Australia and in the Indo-Pacific and everywhere around the globe where tropical corals live.
Is there any way to, I guess, resurrect those corals? Like, can we bring them back to life in that sense? Because are they considered dead? I guess that would be my most basic word to use for it.
So, some corals, especially those that are really sensitive to temperature, have suffered quite a lot. However, there are some corals that are quite resilient, and we monitored coral bleaching throughout the season last year, and we saw some corals like our big boulder star corals, which are some of the most predominant corals on the reefs here in Cayman. They bleached, but then after the temperature recovered, the corals actually recovered. So they got their algae back and they were able to survive. So that's a really hopeful, finding, is that potentially some of these corals are going to be able to adapt and tolerate temperature as it continues to increase.
So what role do corals play in marine life? Like, why is it so important? I know a lot of people are, what does it matter that the corals are bleaching, it's underwater.
You look at it and you think like, oh, it's just a rock. Like, it's not that big of a deal, right? But the coral is actually building that rock over time. So, every day it's sitting there laying down a little bit more rock, which means that it's growing. It's creating our island, basically. And so it's really important in protecting the island from storm surge. And so, this is like, twofold now, because as temperature is increasing, we're getting stronger storms. So having that buffer from those waves is really important. But they also are a home to all the other creatures that live on the reef. Mm-hmm. So without corals, you have less fish, and that's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect tourism. Without corals, the bottom of the seafloor is basically covered with algae, so it's not as exciting to look at for divers and snorkelers. So all these things are really important to us as a community and a country.
Okay. Especially, so that's, a threefold right there.
Yeah.
So with the building and the kind of protecting the island from a storm surge, the fact that our, a lot of fish basically kind of feed off the coral or what the coral produces. So, that would mean less fish, less for us to kind of also consume. And then they kind of keep the floor clean, the ocean floor a little cleaner too. So, and that's one of our greatest selling points, you could say, at the Cayman Islands, just beautiful clear waters, and that you could see right down to the sand.
Yeah. And these beautiful, healthy, vibrant coral reefs are what people come here to see. So we need to make sure that we still have that.
So what initiatives does CCMI put on or go through throughout the year, whether it's I guess some sort of awareness campaigns or events to help people understand and educate the public on what we can do, but also what CCMI does to help protect our reefs?
Sure. CCMI is very actively involved with scientific research. So one of our key things that we do is we publish scientific literature, but that doesn't necessarily reach the public. Right. So that's a very specific outcome. But what we try to do is we do a lot of social media interaction. We have a lot of school groups come to Little Cayman. We reach all different age groups from, starting around age 9 all the way through adults coming to the research center and learning about our oceans. But our flagship program is the Reefs Go Live, and this is a live underwater broadcast that we do 4 times a year. It's aimed at students, so usually, secondary or late primary, early secondary students, and we talk about all sorts of things affecting the ocean or basic marine ecology, so that local Caymanians, but also students globally can have access to marine ecology and understand the oceans. And we actually have a World Oceans Day Reefs Go Live broadcast happening tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be an underwater broadcast.
That's right.
This sounds absolutely insane to me that it's an underwater broadcast, and I'm kind of thinking, all right, I wonder if our director and deputy director would can we now somehow get Radio Cayman to do an underwater broadcast? I'm fascinated. I want to learn more, but we got to go to a commercial break right now. And so when we return, we're going to hear more about what exactly these live underwater broadcasts are about and the event that's going on tomorrow.
Great. Thank you.
Right.
Investing in our children's academic success and future career is a no-brainer. Isn't it time we stop with the excuses? With 100% math, you can take charge now. There's no reason for your children to fall behind in math again. Since 2011, 100% Math has prepared students for exams in IB, HL, SL Math, and CSEC and enrichment programs for gifted students. Visit 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817. That's 547-9817. No more excuses. Set your child up for success today with 100% Math.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Council of Older Persons is proud to present the first Aging in the Cayman Islands Forum. This forum will be held on Saturday, 15th of June at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI and is free to the public and open to all ages. Registration will open at 8:30. Presenters and topics aim to truly reflect the needs of Caymanians and residents so we can all age with dignity. For more information, visit www.gov.ky/Older Persons Council.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm here with the Central Caribbean Marine Institute, otherwise known as CCMI, with Dr. Gretchen. She just let me know, I don't know, maybe my head's been stuck in the sand, but I didn't know that CCMI was doing live underwater broadcasts, and I guess they're mostly aimed at students, she said, but I would love to basically participate in it and check out the broadcast. And I understand that tomorrow for World's Ocean Day, which is on Saturday,
yes,
there's a Reefs Go Live underwater broadcast.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about this. What can we expect? How can we participate?
Yeah, well, we'd love to have everyone participate. It's actually live online, so you can go to our website and find out how you can live stream the broadcast. And it's actually an interactive broadcast, which means that you can type in questions to our underwater host and they'll address them on the spot. So it's a really great way to get not just students, but all individuals involved in the conversation. And actually, tomorrow's broadcast is a special broadcast because we will also be presenting it in the Cayman Bay Cinema. So we have several schools joining us. We have filled the cinema. So all the theaters are filled with students watching our Reefs Go Live broadcast tomorrow morning. And then we also have some seats available to the public if you're interested in the VIP theater. So that's tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Well, that sounds very cool. I love that. I think that's a great idea. So all the theaters at 9:30 in the morning are going to be full with this underwater broadcast.
That's right.
That's awesome. So what do you show people when you're doing this broadcast? What is your aim to, I guess, educate people on?
You would be surprised how many people in the Caribbean have never put a mask on and put their face under the water. It is always shocking to me that there are so many individuals who live on the ocean and don't know what's right in their back door. Yeah. And so I think one of the really key things we try to do is just show them what we have here. So we have a host who's wearing a full face mask on scuba on a reef in Little Cayman. and they will talk about one of our main key initiatives. And so then there's a topside host on the boat, and they have a conversation. And then we also have these interactions with the audience through our live stream feed.
How long have you been doing these underwater broadcasts?
We've been doing them, I think, 7 years now.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm super fascinated. I would love to check this out. I agree with you. Not a lot of people do explore the water. I think there's a lot of fear, but again,
for sure,
what you don't know, you're scared of. And the more you understand what's going on, I'm not nearly as scared of the ocean as now that I've learned how to dive. Well, It's been a while since I've gone diving, but it's like, to me, I would say, man, we can't go to space, or I'm not trying to go to space. I'm not going to be one of those people in the first 20 trips to space or whatever it is.
Me either, to be honest.
No, thank you. But I would say, man, this is like space but underwater, and it's super, super peaceful.
It really is,
It's
and
beautiful.
It's just not. It's not scary once you actually see the fish that are down there.
Absolutely,
it's just
or
beautiful.
nurse sharks. When you think shark, you're a lot of people are freaked out, but no, I'm like, oh, it's just a nurse shark, and
yeah, it's just laying there.
I wouldn't have said that 20 years ago. So it's amazing. The more you know and it interact with the ocean,
yes,
the more just welcoming it is in that sense. So I love the fact that it's going to be an underwater broadcast. Definitely want to check that out.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So that's tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. If people still want to join that, like the general public,
I believe we probably still have tickets available if you want to come to watch it in the cinema, or you can watch it online. You can find it on our Facebook page or on our website.
Is the website reefresearch.org?
It is reefresearch.org.
All right, so that's where people can go to check it out. That's so awesome. I love it. We have a few minutes left here, so I want to get into a little bit more that CCMI is doing. Well, first, before we go into that, I think you said to me in the break that you're going to be having a presentation tonight.
Yes. So tonight we have a lecture at the Ambassadors of the Environment at the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
So that will be at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock to 6:45, our postdoctoral scientist, Dr. Jack Johnson, is going to be presenting the results of our reef report card and the state of the reef following the bleaching event.
Okay, what is a reef report card? It sounds a little serious, right?
Yeah, it's very serious. So every year we do annual surveys of the reef, and we've been doing them for 25 years. And following the analysis of those surveys, we publish a report card that's basically talking about how healthy are the reefs in Little Cayman. And it's not just the coral, but we also are looking at all of the fish. And so what we found for 2023 was actually the highest coral cover we've ever had since we started these surveys in 1999. So we had 27% coral cover.
What does that mean, coral cover?
That means that the amount of the seafloor that's covered with live, healthy coral was the highest it's been since we started the surveys. Now, obviously, if you compared that to like 1970, it's probably a lot less. But compared to the rest of the Caribbean, that's phenomenal. I mean, the rest of the Caribbean is somewhere around 5%, and we're at 27%. So that's a great finding. Another exciting finding was the fish population. Is we've had an exponential increase in herbivores, so the parrotfish, which are really important for eating algae and keeping the reef clean, as well as grouper, which is almost surely related to the Nassau grouper recovery in Little Cayman.
Oh, and that's my favorite fish to eat, to be honest, grouper.
Oh, I don't want you to say that. I thought you were going to say it's your favorite fish to see while you're diving.
Parrotfish, I would say, definitely.
Yeah, parrotfish are so beautiful and colorful, so they're always really exciting to see. But also those big grouper, it's pretty cool when you see a big grouper hiding under a rock.
It is. Yeah. And I don't know it's a grouper, I guess, necessarily, but I definitely know what a parrotfish is when I'm underwater. So there's that. Sorry, but they really are super tasty. There's that. So that's good news. So it's, did you say 20 or 27%?
27%.
And that's the highest coral cover that we've seen in it the 20 years?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
So some people might hear that and think, okay, well, the coral bleaching thing is not that serious, and I can go and just stand on the corals or, take a piece home or whatever it might be, right? So what would you say in a response to that?
I would say that even though we had a high coral cover in 2023, the heating event I think just highlights how fragile the reef really is. So I mentioned that we've been doing those surveys of the impacts of the heat wave on the bleaching of the corals in Little Cayman. And unfortunately, we found 55% of the corals in our surveys over time died as a result of the bleaching. So when we redo our annual surveys this summer, we expect to find a much different result. And so I think that's going to be very sobering because, we've been championing Little Cayman as this wonderful hope spot that's resilient to all impacts. And yet, this one global event can wreak havoc on it. And so I think it just highlights how vulnerable the system still is, and how much it really does need our protection and safeguarding.
Now, I understand that there's also like protected marine waters in Little Cayman, right? But a couple years ago, and I really don't know what's going on with the issue right now, that there was this idea of building these kind of developments that just jet out into kind of like the bay right there.
Like over the water bungalows.
Yeah, that's it, the over water bungalows, which, visually it's a beautiful thing, but then all I could think about was, what is that going to do? What is that going to do to Little Cayman, like, say, in between the Little Cayman and Owen Island and that kind of area there? What is that going to do? How would that, from your understanding, how would that really affect the marine life and the corals in Little Cayman?
I think it would have a major impact, especially if you're building over-the-water bungalows in an area that is a nursery ground for fish, especially for important fish like grouper, and large predators like sharks, which we know Head of Bay is a nursery ground. And so, putting over-the-water bungalows in that area would not be beneficial to the environment. And I think luckily the community in Little Cayman is very aware of those types of issues, and will fight for Little Cayman to make sure that it maintains this sanctuary-like status.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I wanted to get, kind of your feedback from a scientist point of view and, understanding what's really going on there. I think a lot of us feel the same way. So
it's this little gem, and we want to keep it that way.
I did not know it was a nursery for sharks, though, that my eyes kind of popped open a little wider, like, okay.
Oh, don't worry. They're teeny, teeny, tiny.
Okay.
Like less than a foot long. They're not going to
Aren't all little things hungry? But there's that. We only got a couple minutes left here, so I guess if there's any kind of major points that you do want to share with our listening audience, now's the time.
Yeah, well, I would love for everyone to be able to check out the Reefs Go live broadcast tomorrow morning at 9:30. Again, you can find it on our website at www.reefresearch.org or on our Facebook page. You can just search for CCMI or our full name, Central Caribbean Marine Institute. I also welcome everyone to come to the talk tonight at the Ritz-Carlton. It's in the Ambassadors of the Environment Center, where Dr. Jack Johnson will be talking about the impacts of the warming on our coral reefs in Little Cayman. And finally, if you're an art enthusiast, we also have an art exhibit for students from CIFA that created art based on the ocean. So I encourage everyone to look at that as well.
Where's that art exhibit? It's virtual or?
The art exhibit, I'm going to have to look it up.
Well, I have a note here that says that it is a virtual art exhibit.
Yeah, I believe it's virtual. So again, virtual Healthy Reefs art exhibit. So you can find that again through our website,
which is reefresearch.org.
Correct. And then last but not least, we have our annual gala coming in November. So come celebrate the seas, and our topic is Horizons. Our theme is Horizons. And so this will be at the Kimpton, and it will be a dinner, and we'll have live music and auctions. It's a really fun night, and we hope to see everyone there. That's November the 16th.
I've heard great things about that gala, actually. I know some people that went last year and absolutely loved it.
We have a great party.
Excellent. Now, a reminder to the public, just in general, that tonight from 7 to 9 p.m., there is a public consultation that the Ministry of PAHI is holding for Plan Cayman. You can go to plancayman.ky. You can see what the proposed development plan is, and this is a long-term policy development for Cayman Islands in development and land use. We were I just asked Dr. Gretchen, for example, when it came to those overwater bungalows in Little Cayman. This is the time where you want to bring up your opinions. You want to voice your concerns. This is the time to do it. It's a public consultation. This is the second one. The first one was in West Bay, I believe, Monday. The second one is tonight, Georgetown Constitution Hall from 7 to 9 p.m. And that's about it. We got to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. Thank you so much, Dr. Gretchen, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope next time we'll have a longer discussion and to get into things a little bit more. And don't forget, everybody, check out reefresearch.org if you want to be part of that World's Ocean Day Reefs Go Live underwater broadcast tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local